Hello and welcome to round 3 of the GTPlanet Karting Series. We're here today at the Suzuka East Circuit. My name is Tom Brooks. Alongside me for the commentary today is Andrew Mather. Hiya, Andrew.
Good evening, Tom. Great to be with you once again. Can't wait for the racing to get going.
No, it's going to be very exciting, of course. We had Motegi last time out to commentate on. Now, that was certainly something to be very, very interested about. The racing there, I think we both lost our breath in the final couple of laps of the final heat.
Yeah, it was so close between all the races, and really the level of driving ability that was on show was top class. So hopefully we can get some more of that today. And but it's going to be very, very different, I think. A much more technical track here at Suzuka as opposed to the long straights of Motegi. But I'm sure we've got a quality field that can be up to the task.
Well, definitely so. It's going to be very interesting. Of course, we are bringing you the two classes, KF1 and KZ1. Let's have a look and tell you what heats and finals we're going to be showing you. So we'll be showing you the KF Heat B, and we'll be showing you the KF1 Heat final as well. And in KZ1, we'll be showing you Heat B and Heat C, as well as the final. So 2 races, essentially, from KF1 and 3 races from KZ1. So it's certainly set to be very interesting. And as you said, Andrew, the circuit throwing a different variable into the mix.
Yeah, it's the corners that really make this thing a lot more different. You've got to have a much better flow. It's not as stop-start as Motegi was when we were last with the karting series. So you never know, you might get drivers who struggled a bit with that style of driving at Motegi coming to the front this time. But with everyone in the same kind of kart, everyone with the same power, and yeah, it's sure to make some really interesting racing for us here today.
Well, that's most definitely the case. Of course, we are still in Japan, as we said. We're at Suzuka. Last time out, we were at Motegi, and it all came down to the final few laps with Mikosi Academic taking the spoils in the heat his form. Meanwhile, let's talk about KZ1 Heat B then. Let's have a look at this final. The Racing Kart 125, of course, so the KF Heat B, I should say. So it's Ning Dynasty on pole, Mr. Racing Line in second, Cab 114 in third, Euclid 58 in fourth, GTP Famine lines up fifth, Griff Theo sixth, Midnight Rider 32 in seventh, and so on and so forth. So on the right-hand side of the screen, we've got the blue card of Ning Dynasty, the American. Mr. Racing Line in second place, the Norwegian, the Danish driver, I should say. The lights go green and we're underway here at Suzuka, and initially a very good start from everyone. No one bogging down, which is very, very good to see. Mr. Racing Line slots behind Ning Dynasty into second place. Not much argy-bargy going on further back, but I think that might be Euclid 58 trying to challenge GTP Famine, who incidentally gets himself up into third place. Mr. Racing Line looking around the outside of Ning Dynasty through into turn 1. No way through from there, and now he's going to come under threat from Famine as well. An interesting start. That is Griff Theo going a bit wide and off the circuit, spinning right down the order, I'm afraid, for the American. He goes all the way down into 9th position overall. Cab 114 we're looking at on screen at the moment, but an interesting start it was there, Andrew. Lots of drama.
Great start from Ning Dynasty, held off the pressure of Mr. Racing Line, but Griff Theo maybe on a bit of a cold tyres there, just got a little bit wide, got his rear left on that dust and grass and went round. It's a shame for him, but hopefully he can pull some of this back as someone's cutting a corner a little bit. Oh, there's someone off in the background. I think it's Cab 114. So yeah, lots of drama on this first lap, Tom, but it's Mr. Racing Line now in the lead from Ning Dynasty.
Yeah, pulling out of the slipstream now, though, is Ning Dynasty. So the American looking to take back the lead on lap 2 out of 7 here at Suzuka. Up the inside, heading in towards turn 1. Will he be able to get the move done? Looks to be pretty easy for Ning Dynasty. Indeed, he does reclaim his position. Who's that sliding off the circuit? That's GTP Famine going way down the order. What on earth happened there? That was quite an incident. I think he might have just overcooked it going through turn 1, and that has sent him spiralling down the order there, Andrew.
Yeah, I think I almost commentator cursed him in my own head, because I was about to say that he's really showing how accomplished he is in this series. He had a really good time out at Motegi, but he'll be a bit annoyed about that he's slipped down to 6th. But at least he's not right at the back. He's still got a chance here with 5 and a bit laps to go of getting back into a position where he can qualify for the finals later on.
Already up into 5th place after that as well, so that's pretty impressive. I must say, Midnight Rider 32, meanwhile, going backwards down into 7th place from 5th, just a couple of corners. Mr. Racing Line in the lead. T. Kennedy 85 and Euclid 58 swap positions. The American overtakes the American, if that's something I can say. Euclid 58 in 3rd, Ning Dynasty just behind him in 4th. So the pole position driver is now all the way off of the podium, unfortunately, at this stage in the race. But he's pretty close behind that group of cars, I would say. But Mr. Racing Line, he's got a good second or so of a gap there. So that's really going to come into play, especially in these latter stages of the race.
Absolutely. We saw this at Motegi last time, a few heats and finals where the leader was just able to pull out a lead that makes the whole race much easier when you get to those nervous last few laps. Meanwhile, we've got this three-way scrap now for for second place, I should say. They're all stealing time off each other. And hang on a minute, where's Ning Dynasty gone?
Yeah, it's sliding down the order into 5th place. Meanwhile, Midnight Rider 32 has had another incident. He's gone sliding down into 8th position overall. So it's now a two-way scrap for second place there, Andrew. T. Kennedy 85 and Euclid 58. The yellow cart versus the yellow cart coming down in towards turn 1. No way through there for Euclid 58. He's a bit too far behind at the moment, but if he can bide his time, stay patient and stay calm, I do say he'd be in with a good shout of taking second place in this race.
GTP Famine back up to 4th now with all that's happened in this race. And if I was these two, I'd almost just kind of call it quits right now, stop battling each other and take the 2nd and 3rd positions, because at the moment it's all about getting into that final, and they're doing so right away.
Quite exactly.
Mr. Racing Line, though, is absolutely performing to the absolute best at the moment. Very calm, very assured, and is probably still pulling away from these two.
Yeah, just 3 laps remaining now for Mr. Racing Line as he crosses the line to start lap 5 out of 7. Still looking at T. Kennedy 85. Meanwhile, further down the order, there's Cab 114, who was looking to be such a promising position at the start of this race. Now down in 8th place, I'm afraid to say, with Midnight Rider 32 for company. So they have had a bit of a torrid run, it would seem, here at Suzuka in Heat B. Hopefully things can get a little bit better for them later on. Just coming across the line to start their lap 5 then. And they are pretty much out of contention, I would say, with the rest of the field. You can see the gap on that circuit map on the left-hand side of your screen, just how much the gap is to 7th position at the moment. So a couple of points, at least, on the board for these guys, but not the way they'll have wanted their race to have gone, Andrew.
No, it's, once again, I think the technical nature of the circuit catching a couple of the drivers out. The difference here being, because there's so many more corners, I think there's more opportunities to make mistakes, and you get punished more as well, with the gravel traps that we have here at Suzuka being a lot deeper than we saw last time out at Motegi. But Mr. Racing Line, what a great start to his day. He's really looking like he's got this race sewn up with just under 2 laps to go, and still T. Kennedy and Euclid in a good position as well.
With Theo there, just getting out of the way, I should say. The American having a little bit of another problem by the looks of things. That means that Cab 114 and Midnight Rider 32 slot themselves up to 7th and 8th place, respectively. But as you said, Mr. Racing Line now on his penultimate lap will be coming around to start his final one in just about 10 seconds or so's time. And it's been a dominant performance from the Danish driver. We've seen he had the pace. He just didn't have the luck, I'm afraid to say, in Motegi. Meanwhile, look at this battle going on between Cab 114. Is that Griff Theo going off again in turn 1? I think it was. And still spinning down the order, I'm afraid to say. Mr. Racing Line, meanwhile, does indeed now start his final lap. Ning Dynasty, the pole man, down in 5th place, all on his own, out on track. No one to battle with. But it's still Cab 114 and Midnight Rider 32 battling for position. Midnight Rider 32 then does get ahead of Cab 114, but it is Mr. Racing Line just coming through turns 1, heading towards the S's for the final time for the Danish driver. A great result nonetheless, and a podium looks to be pretty much in the bag for the two Americans of T. Kennedy 85 and Euclid 58 behind them.
Yeah, they've clearly put the brains on and thought, let's just take these positions and get through to the next race. Really impressed with both of them. They didn't have the best of qualifyings, but they've pulled their way through, shown what they can do, and they've probably going to be really looking forward to the final now. Mr. Racing Line, though, what a performance from him. Started 2nd, if I remember correctly. Applied the pressure really well to Ning Dynasty, and eventually he cracked. And a really dominant performance here from Mr. Racing Line in the first televised race of the day.
There we are. So Mr. Racing Line crosses the timing line to take the victory. The Danish driver claims honours here at Suzuka for the first heat that we are seeing on screen at the moment. T Kennedy 85 will finish in second. Euclid 58 will cross the line in third place, some 5.9 seconds behind. GTP Famine in fourth place, not too far behind actually, only 2 or 3 seconds behind Euclid in third. Ning Dynasty fifth, Arla 34 Love in sixth, Midnight Rider 32 in seventh, Cab 114 in eighth, and Griff Theo in ninth. He will finish over a lap down, unfortunately, given his dramas in towards the final stages of the race. But a great start to proceedings there, Andrew, and I'm fairly sure things will continue and get a little bit more action-packed as we carry on.
Absolutely, lots to talk about. We saw the cream of the crop rise to the top in that race, and it was pretty much if you made a mistake, you were off the podium. I think GTP Famine will be a little bit frustrated with what happened there to him, but he's hopefully going to have more chances later on in this event and later in the season to get on the podium.
Exactly, and we'll have more action on the way fairly shortly. So welcome back to proceedings here at GTPlanet's Karting Series at Suzuka. We've got more action on the way in the form of the KF1 final. It was a thrilling Heat B. Let's see how things happen for for the final. Tom Brooks and Andrew Mather here to guide you through the action. And we're just waiting for everything to get sorted and underway. But it was a thrilling start to proceedings there, Andrew.
Yeah, it was a really good watch. And once again, as we saw with Motegi last time, a little bit hard to keep up with at points because there was so much going on. A lot of mistakes from some of the drivers as well. The nature of this circuit catching others out. And it really is so close. You have to take risks. You have to push hard to see if you can take those better positions. But the top three all kept themselves out of trouble, and that's why they were in the top three. And it was a great performance by each and every one of them.
Exactly. My apologies, by the way. It is indeed the KZ1 Heat B. So Zajak, Krelu, Choco Chip, GTB Jammy, Peelster, and so on will make up the grid. Just 6 karts taking to the field. And it is indeed the white kart starting on pole position, which racing will be underway now. Oh, a bit of a jump start, I think it was indeed there for the white card of pole position and going tumbling down the order, I'm afraid to say. Meanwhile, it is indeed Choco Chip who takes the lead. Krelu in second, GTP Jammy third, Racer Maniac in fourth. Jammy up to second now in towards turn one. Bit of argy-bargy going off the circuit there, I think, is Jammy now. Krelu retains second place, but now he's got Racer Maniac for company heading in towards the S's. Peelster in fourth. Zajak, who was the driver who jumped the start, into fifth position, and Jammy, the Finnish driver, currently down sitting in sixth place. A dramatic start we had there, Andrew. Really things not going the way of the two people at the front.
Yeah, a bit messy there. I think with such a small field, every single driver is going to think that they can take something in this. And Zajak clearly showed his nerves there, jumping that start. And there's almost a bit of contact again between Zajak and Peelster 1 there. Krelu as well involved on the first corner with a little bit of side pod rubbing. But Krelu now in the lead from Choco Chip, Racer Maniac third. Zajak already back up to fourth, although he slips down to fifth now. So really all to play for between these 6. Anything could happen.
Yeah, most certainly could. So Racer Maniac on Choco Chip is the most intense battle on track at the moment. Zajak 33 coming into play now as well. So a 3-way scrap, potentially for second place. These guys battling for honours, of course, and a place in the final as well. But it's Krelu out in front, Choco Chip, then Racer Maniac, then Zajak. Don't forget about Peelster, of course, and GTP Jammy. There's still battles going on throughout the entirety of the field. So it's very, very interesting between about 5 people on circuit at the moment, I hesitate to say, which is cracking. Meanwhile, still looking at Racer Maniac coming on towards the main straight once again, looking to get ahead of Choco Chip, crossing the line. He does indeed. The Spanish driver gets ahead of the American. Nice clean overtake there, but the slipstream, of course, is so effective, as we know, in at Suzuka, rather, I should say. So it's pretty much to be expected.
Yeah, great use of the slipstream there by Racer Maniac. I'm just wondering about GTP Jammy at the back here. He is losing touch maybe, but I think he's still got a chance in this because these top 5 are so close together. We've already seen so much action here today. 2 or 3 of these guys could easily take each other out, and then GTP Jammy, by just keeping it on the road, will be in a prime position to move towards the final.
Yeah, anything can happen, and as we have seen in the GTPlanet Karting Series, it usually does as well. Jack now on Choco Chip. Choco Chip heading down the order and off the podium for the first time in this race now as well, down to 4th place. Jack muscling his way past, coming on towards the main straight, but now Choco Chip's going to get him straight back with the effect of slipstream from GTR Racer Maniac as well. So there we are. Choco Chip looks to go up to 2nd place then. Look at that. That would have been an inspired bit of overtaking. Still 3 drivers scrapping for place. And there we are. He does indeed. The American gets himself up into 2nd. Jack down to 3rd. Racer Maniac in 4th. And Kraylu now, his lead looks a little bit more uncomfortable than it did. But still 4 drivers battling for 2nd position at the moment. Choco Chip, Jack, GTR Racer Maniac, and now Pilster coming into play as well. On lap 4 out of 7 here, Andrew, things are really hotting up.
Absolutely stunning stuff from these 4 out of the first turn on that last lap. Kraylu, even though he has probably got a good enough lead that if he can keep it on track, will take the win. But it's not certain at all. One little mistake, and each of these guys behind him, as Racer Maniac looks like he's looking up the inside and holding a tight line. But if Kraylu makes a mistake, he's going to shoot straight down to 5th here, because these 4 are right on his tail.
Yeah, most certainly so. So Pilster there, he's in the pound seat at the moment. He's got the opportunity to be able to take advantage with these guys in front falter, and it is very easy to do so. Just one slight mistake, one bit of correction, that can really hinder your progress, especially if you're coming onto somewhere like the main straight of here. The race going by quicker than we can count, but drama throughout the field as well. And Racer Mania looks to be under attack now from Pilster. So the Spanish driver looks to be under threat from the American at the moment. And let's see whether he can get ahead, can Pilster. Had something of a quiet race up until he's coming to the forte at the moment, heading in towards turn 1. Choco Chip and Jack exchange places once again. Racer Maniac now still under threat from Pilster, but whilst looking to attack Jack as well. And heading through the S's they go for the first complex.
Oh, someone kicking up a bit of dust. In fact, it's Racer Maniac. Racer Maniac spun off and has fallen victim to this 4-way battle. Kraylu now getting into a much better rhythm and has probably got this heat sewn up. Jack started to show his class, which got in pole position earlier by being up to 2nd place. But I always feared that it was going to happen, that one of those 4 was going to lose out there, and it's a shame for Racer Maniac because he was putting on a great show, but that's motor racing sometimes.
Yeah, he's driven a very strong race as Maniac, and there's nothing taken away from him. He did do very well. Just a simple mistake, as I mentioned. So easy to do so. Meanwhile, Choco Chip on Jack coming in towards turn 1. Who will take 2nd place? Kraylu likes to have things sewn up if he can keep it on the black stuff. Meanwhile, coming in towards the S's for the final time. It's Jack versus Choco Chip. These guys battling for points as well as a place in the final. So coming through the left and the right-hander they go. One mistake could send them spiraling out of this race. And finally out of the final as well, of course. GTP Jammy there looks to be on for a pretty dead cert 5th place. Had something of a quiet run in these final stages. Meanwhile, it is Kraylu who will take the victory. Jack who will finish in 2nd place. It is Jack, the Frenchman, so it's a French 1-2 for the first time in the GTPlanet Karting Series. Choco Chip finishes in 3rd. Pilster will come home to take the spoils in 4th. Jammy will finish 5th. And GTR Racer Maniac, what can you say about him? Just a bit unlucky and will finish dead last in the KZ1 Heat B.
Great racing once again, and I think a very, very relieved pair of French drivers there. Jack, after the false start, the jump start that he made, will be massively relieved to get himself back up the order and into the final. And Kraylu was looking a little bit shaky in the middle of that race, made a couple of mistakes and looks like he was going to be pulled in by the 2nd through 5th battle, but he takes the win, and great driving from pretty much everyone in that field.
Yeah, most definitely so. It was very, very interesting. That, of course, was KZ1 Heat B. We'll have KZ1 Heat C on the way in just a few moments' time. And, of course, the results from this heat will indeed decide the final grid, or the grid for the final, I should say. So it's MSGT in pole position, the EH team in 2nd, Connor Wolf in 3rd, TWR7 4th, Cruel 69 in 5th, Barrett number 5 in 6th, and Chris W265 will round out the grid in 7th place. And I should imagine if the Heat B was anything to go by there, Andrew, it's going to be another cracking race.
Yeah, a smaller field again with this one. So once again, everyone will hopefully think that they've got a chance of getting on the podium for this heat. They're away now, and it's a great start from everyone apart from Caller 69. Absolutely lightning start from pole by MSGT. Connor Wolf up into second. EH team slips down to third. They're all through the first corner cleanly, which is good to see. And it's MSGT leading this one.
Yeah, most definitely. So great start from the American, retains his pole position. Connor Wolf in second. The EH team kicking up a bit of dust there in third place. Under attack now from TWR Seb, heading in towards the S's, who is also incidentally under attack from Barrett 5. Cruel 69 up into sixth place as well, coming through the final part. So it is TWR Seb, the Frenchman, who takes away third position on the opening lap here from the EH team 43, the Canadian driver, and through into the final right-hander down the hill. It's such a difficult corner in road cars. In karts, it's even harder, of course, with no suspension. But Connor Wolf there in second place. He's really under threat now, and don't count anything away from MSGT, of course. His lead is anything but certain, and that looks to be the case. It's going to change now.
Yeah, great run off the last corner by Connor Wolf. He really hooked it up there. And TWR Seb's come out of nowhere to now lead this heat. MSGT will wonder what he's done wrong there, because he's gone from first and now fourth. First to fourth in half a lap. He's not out of it yet, though. Oh, as Connor Wolf gets it all wrong and he's in the wall. Oh, that's such a shame for Connor Wolf. He just got out on that dirt. As we've seen already a couple of drivers do today, you run wide and you are just a passenger here at Suzuka.
Yeah, the dirt really does bite, and it bites even harder when it matters for a position in the final. But it is still TWR Seb 72 in first, the EH team 43 in second, MSGT. Who's that running wide? Is that the EH team? I think it might be. And straight off out of the final corner, and he'll go tumbling down the order by the looks of things now as well. So, Cruel 69 in fourth. My apologies. It was indeed Chris W265 who went off. My sincerest apologies. That was an incorrect guess from me. I should have guessed by the fact that if the EH team was not going tumbling down the order. TWR Seb leads from MSGT, who was in fourth position all but a lap ago. Cruel 69, though, all of his Christmases have come at once. He's right in contention there, Andrew, in fourth place.
Yeah, he's keeping things very, very calm. And in this kind of race, that's just what you need to do, because who knows how many of the three guys ahead of him will actually still be ahead of him by the end of this race. We've got a great battle here going on between Chris W265 and Connor Wolf. Their races for the final, at least, are probably over, but they're just racing for points in the heat and I think a bit of pride as well. But TWR Seb, another great performance from him so far, stays in the lead of this race, but we're not quite even halfway yet, so it could still all change.
Yes, such as the action that's gone on. It's been very interesting nonetheless. So these guys coming to cross onto lap 4. So we are now over the halfway stage. Of course, 3.5 laps into this race, we are over the halfway stage. So TWR Seb has a bit of a cushion compared to MSGT. Meanwhile, look at this battle still intensifying between Connor Wolf and Chris W265, who gets ahead, heading in towards turn 1 and gets the position done, does the number 25. So great result there for Chris W265. Nice bit of clean overtaking from the American on his countryman. But it is TWR Seb, the Frenchman, who leads the way. French drivers absolutely dominating proceedings here at the GTPlanet Karting Series. We saw Krelu and Jajak in the Heat B, of course, claiming a 1-2, the first 1-2 of the karting series. Meanwhile, still going on between the Americans further down the order. TWR Seb, my apologies, Chris W265 and Connor Wolf still battling for position. Kicking up a bit of dust there, does Connor Wolf on towards the straight, of course, to cross on towards lap 5. So 2 laps remaining here, and it really is hotting up further down the order.
Yeah, Connor Wolf goes to the inside looking to take Chris W265 in the first corner. I think he's going to do it unless Chris can hold it round the outside. Oh, I think as Chris spun off. Chris has spun off there. He's just got wide, taking that wide line through turn 1, and that's sadly that little battle over. Meanwhile, at the front, it's starting to spread out a little bit. Crawler 69 will be needing, I think, a little bit more pace at this stage of the race to apply the pressure to the top 3. Otherwise, he's going to miss out on a podium in this heat. But as you said, brilliant performance again from another French driver with Seb 72, showing how it's done at the moment at the head of the field.
Yeah, most definitely so. The EH team there still crosses the line. TWR Seb has still got that bit of a cushion. It's pretty spread out, I should say, between the top 5 drivers. So good to see that everyone sort of kept their head cool and keeping themselves in the right position for the final, which will be along the way later on, of course, of proceedings here at Suzuka. Heading in towards the S's they go now. And everyone keeping things very nice, very tidy, very clean, which is always good to see. So penultimate lap here at the Heat C of the KZ1 class. Around the final corner goes Cruel 69. So the two Canadians are sitting in 3rd and 4th place at the moment. They'll be pretty happy with their result. They're French-speaking Canadians, I'm not entirely sure. So they may have something in common with TWR Seb, at least if they are. Meanwhile, speaking of TWR Seb, he crosses the line and will start his final lap here at Suzuka. It's been a dominant performance. He's led pretty much throughout the entirety of this race, all but off the start. So a great result there for the Frenchman if he can bring things home in that position. MSGT was sitting in 4th place at the end of lap 2. It was very interesting. Oh, sorry, the beginning of lap 2, rather, I should say. And it's great to see him have recovered up into 2nd place. Meanwhile, those around him, such as Chris W265, Connor Wolf, and so on and so forth, have had a couple of instances, made a few more mistakes in this race, and that really has put pay to the results that they will finish in. There is Connor Wolf just going through the shot at the moment.
It'll be really frustrating for Caller 69. He's so close, but he's just going to miss out on a podium here as TWR Seb 72 comes across the line to take the win. A brilliant performance from him. MSGT, as you say, Tom, a brilliant recovery after a bit of a wobble early on in the race. He takes 2nd place. Team 43 rounds out the podium. Caller 69, a really good drive. Cannot fault him there, but unfortunately it's only 4th place. 5th place was Barrett 5, and then the two guys who unfortunately didn't get their clean races in. Connor Wolf finishes 6th and Chris W265 in 7th.
So there we are, 3 different nationalities on the podium of the KZ1 Heat C here. Of course, we'll have the final along the way later on. Speaking of finals, it's time to go across to the F1 final. That'll be interesting, of course. Not the shifter carts, just the 125cc. So it's pretty much put your foot down and go as quick as you can, but still, setup is very, very important in these carts nonetheless. You can only change a few things, such as gear ratios and so on, even in the normal racing carts without the shifters. So it's interesting to see how drivers set it up, whether they'll go for a more torquey setup and have more power available at the lower revs, or whether they will go for a higher revving cart in anticipation for a higher top speed.
I'd go with drivability being the key thing. You want something that you're confident with, that's planted through those S's, which is where you're going to gain the time. And yes, it might lack a bit of top speed, but if you can pull away in those S-bends, you won't have to worry about your top speed.
There we are. So Ning Dynasty starts on pole position. Cab 114 just behind him. So we wait for the lights to go out, and as soon as they do, we will be racing here at Suzuka for the KF1 final. Ning Dynasty on pole. Cab 114 in 2nd place. The lights go green, and we're underway for the KF1 final here in Japan. A great start from everyone off the grid. Look at Famine, though, looking to challenge Mr. Racing Line, though, coming in towards turn 1. Mr. Racing Line looking to challenge him now. Ning Dynasty retains his lead. Famine up into 2nd place off the start of the grid. Cab 114 shuffled down to 3rd. Mr. Racing Line looking to challenge the American now, heading in towards turn 1. Everyone getting away cleanly. No contact throughout the field. Bit of contact there between Cab 114 and GTP Famine. Heading in towards the S-bends they go now. The American versus the Briton. No one raging out on top. The GTP Famine retaining his place there, and everyone getting away fairly cleanly throughout the field, Andrew.
Good recovery from Cab 114. He actually bogged down a little bit on his initial getaway, and I thought he was going to be tumbling down the field, but he's held that position in the top 3 at least. And with them all so close together, look at this pack. There's probably a paper width throwing. Oh, someone's gone off there. I think it's T. Kennedy who's tumbling down the order. Real shame for him. But so close between these top 6. Any one of these could take this win with it being such a long race.
Yeah, most certainly could do. So it'll be interesting to see how things fare between that and, of course, T. Kennedy 85. He's only in 7th place, so he's got enough time to recover from his off. Meanwhile, Mr. Racing Line, Euclid 58 going down to 6th place after being in 4th just a couple of seconds ago. Mr. Racing Line then now in 4th. Midnight Rider in 5th. Euclid 58 now shuffled down to 6th position, I apologise. So coming in towards the S-bends they go. Mr. Racing Line in the white cart just ahead of the blue-coloured cart there of Midnight Rider 32. And over the brow of the hill they go. GTP Famine there looking in 2nd place to be pretty comfortable. I'd say he could be on to challenge the lead from Ning Dynasty here within a second, Andrew.
Absolutely. He's really showing how in tune with these carts GTP Famine is at the moment. He had a bit of a frustrating heat, as we saw earlier on, but he's got into this final. He's showing the pace that he undoubtedly has, and he's really in with the shouts of taking this win here in the final. Great battle here between, I think it's Mr. Racing Line, Midnight Rider and Euclid 58. very close between those three and very early in this race. So it's all to play for.
Yeah, Midnight Rider 32 there, looking pretty comfortable in his car. He's in that unfortunate position of attacking and defending at the same time. Who's that off into the barrier? That is R34 Love now, going through turn one. What a shame for him. He's got a masterful road to recovery now. Unfortunately, he's really going to have to pull his finger out to do that. As we said, it's so easy to make a mistake in these cars, and especially when you're under the pressure of the final.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think he might have just got a little bit wide and onto the curb on the outside of turn one, and the kart just pitched itself into the barrier on the inside, so I think there might even be a bit of damage on the car. Oh, who's that off? Who's that? It's Cab 114. He's descending down the order. He's run wide. He's done a little bit of what one Pablo Montoya did in F1 a few years ago, and that's put him completely out of the reckoning for this race when he's just got wide, got in that gravel, and there's no way you're going to get it out of the gravel quickly when you go that deep into it.
Yeah, now sitting in ninth position is Cab 114. What a drama. That has thrown a massive curveball into this race. Mr. Racing Line inherits third place. Midnight Rider now in 34. So these guys not only battling for honours, battling for a podium position as well. Speaking of battling for a podium position, how about the lead of the race? Ning Dynasty still leading by a hair's breadth at the moment. It's GTP Famine right on his back bumper, looking up the inside, in towards the left. How do they go now? And it's GTP Famine who's still threatening, cuts across the grass, heading on towards the main straight. Once again they go for lap 4 out of 14. 10 laps remaining. I tell you what, if the rest of the 10 laps is going to be like this, we are in for a right treat at the moment. Euclid 58 still in 5th place, trying to challenge Midnight Rider. Meanwhile, crossing back to the battle for the lead here at the moment, it's Famine looking up the outside of Ning Dynasty. Will he think about launching a move? Will he bide his time? He's a very experienced driver, is Famine. We know that. We know he's very calm and collected, and I think he is indeed. Indeed, he doesn't launch an attack on Ning Dynasty at the moment, but signals his intentions nonetheless.
I do wonder, is he just psyching Ning Dynasty out at the moment? There's a long way to go in this race, and there's no point being in the front of the lead if you're not in the lead on the last lap. Also, we should just say, more action off camera in the midfield. T Kennedy 85 has now gone down to 9th position. I think he made a little mistake in the S's, as I'm not quite sure who that was running wide, but tensions brewing here at Suzuka as everyone's in some kind of battle or trying to recover from a mistake, and it's absolutely enthralling stuff here for the crowd.
Yeah, most definitely is. Thank you for joining us, by the way, the GTPlanet Karting Series. You can find out more about GTPlanet by visiting www.gtplanet.net. Meanwhile, position changed there. Euclid 58 in 4th. Midnight Rider now down to 5th. So the two Americans swap positions on lap 6 out of 14 here at the Suzuka East Circuit. Meanwhile, still the battle going on for the lead of the race between Ning Dynasty and GTP Famine. Meanwhile, T Kennedy 85 and Skells 22 swap places, the American and the British driver. Meanwhile, look at that, Famine closer than ever before, and hesitate to say, coming through the right-hander of the S's and then going in towards the next left. Meanwhile, Euclid 58 and Midnight Rider, some great battles going on for some fantastically interesting points-paying positions, Andrew, at the moment. And I tell you what, it's going to be very interesting. Will there be fireworks?
I think there will be, because it is so close. So in all the battles that we've seen here today, GTP Famine looking like he could get a bit of a slipstream on Ning Dynasty for the lead here. I think there's a back marker that they're coming up on as well. But I tell you what, Ning Dynasty's kart is very good in the straight line. Oh, there's something going on the minimap, I think. So there's two karts off. Two karts, and I'm not quite sure who it is. It's Midnight Rider, and I think Euclid as well.
Drama. Oh, they're going to come off into the path of oncoming cars. That was very, very close. My goodness gracious me. I have to say, I had my heart in my mouth for just a couple of moments then. That could have been so much worse than it was. And thankfully, they're both able to continue. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead still intensifies between GTP Famine and Ning Dynasty. Coming through the S-Bends they go now. Will Famine be able to launch an attack finally on lap 7? We're at the halfway stage in the race. My goodness, we're going to have to calm down a little bit here, because otherwise we're not going to make it to the end of the race. It's still Famine trying to challenge Ning Dynasty. Coming on towards the main straight they go now. Lap 7 out of 14, coming on towards to start lap 8. But what on earth happened there, Andrew, with that incident?
I think it's just a breakdown in communications as people jostled on the straight, and I think there's going to be a few bent carts in there as well. But look at the result now for D4 Rizzob, who was towards the back of the field in the early stages of this race. He's kept himself out of trouble and is now sitting in fourth. Cab 114 is now back up to fifth as well. So whatever happened there, we missed it off camera, but it has absolutely thrown the midfield battle up in the air, and it's all still to play for with over 5 laps to go. Blue flag for the 343, which I think is R34 Love. And still, this battle at the front rages on between Ning Dynasty and Famine. Don't count out Mr. Racing Line as well. We know how quick the Dane is, and he'll want more than third for sure. And if these two make a mistake, he's going to be right there ready to pounce.
Yeah, still Famine trying to challenge for the lead, coming up against that backmaster of R34 Love, I believe it is, just trying to get past. Famine seems to have dropped back just a tiny little bit against Ning Dynasty at the moment. And look at that battle still going on now between Drizzob and Cab 114. Not two people who we would have thought, given their instance in this race, would be contending for such a high position. But nonetheless, I'm sure they will welcome it. Drizzob just ahead of Cab 114, coming on to start lap 9. So 5 laps remain here at Suzuka for the KF1 final. Heading in towards turn 1 they go now. Will Cab 114 get ahead? Indeed he does, so slots up into 4th place for now. How long for, though? Will Drizzob be able to mount a charge? He's lost a bit of time, has Drizzob, so I'd be interesting to see, well, if he can indeed manage to bridge the gap. Meanwhile, still look at this battle for the lead, Andrew.
Yeah, they're driving this race absolutely perfectly, these two, that they know the glory of the win is something that both drivers want, but there are still a lot of points to play for, as GTP Famine looks like he could get a bit of a slipstream on Ning Dynasty again. Ning Dynasty taking the defensive line as they drift now back over to the more conventional racing line. Once again, look at the straight line speed that Ning Dynasty has with that car. I mean, I know we discussed it earlier with setup and whether you want drivability, or I'd want drivability of the kart over straight line speed, but I think Ning Dynasty is showing his skill here, that kart may be not as good in the corners. We can definitely see that as GTP Family is all over the back of Ning Dynasty through the S's, but there's nothing GTP Family can do about that sky blue kart when it is so quick in a straight line.
Yeah, I think that really is going to be his Achilles heel at the moment, is Famine's lack of straight line speed, or not necessarily lack of straight line speed, and Ning Dynasty's amazing straight line speed is probably the way we should word things. Obviously got a different setup, as we can see on the karts at the moment, and look how much he's just pulling out of that final corner. He's pulling out, I'd say, a good couple of kart lengths, and that really is saving his bacon, even with the slipstream for Famine at the moment. And you can see how defensive Ning Dynasty's going, crossing the line to start lap 11, and he doesn't really need to be honest with you, because, I mean, Ning Dynasty has got such an advantage. Meanwhile, another blue flag for number 284. That is Scales 22, but still very impressive tactics here from Ning Dynasty.
It really looks like this is Ning Dynasty's to lose, because even if GTP Famine is able to get by in the corners, you'd guess that Ning Dynasty, with the great straight line speed that he has, plus a slipstream, will just sail by on the straights. As we cut back to Euclid 58, who's giving Midnight Rider a bit of a bump draft down the straight, trying to take 6th position here. These two drivers recovering from the drama that we saw earlier in the race when these two karts were off the road. GTP Famine comes round to finish lap 11. This time he seems a lot closer to Ning Dynasty. Can he do it this time? Trying to go around the outside. Yeah.
This is going to be interesting to see. Will Famine be able to take the lead then? Sorry to cut in front of you there, Andrew. Trying to head in towards turn 1. Will he be able to mount a charge? He's going to be the last of the late breakers. We've seen Kimi Räikkönen do a similar thing to Giancarlo Fisichella in 2005, and eventually Famine does indeed have to concede there. So a shame there for Famine. He's really going to have to think tactically about how he's going to do this. Can he launch a move in the S's? And if he can, what price is he going to pay when he comes onto the straight first?
It's almost going to have to be a surprise attack, I think, probably in the middle of the S's. He's going to have to surprise Ning Dynasty, take a risk. Hopefully he'll be able to pull it off without both drivers being taken out. But he needs to get past early in the lap so he can then use the advantage that he has in the rest of the S's to pull out a bit of the lead by the time that they get round onto the pit straight, though. How he does that, though, I have no idea, because Ning Dynasty is driving so assured, so confidently, and at the moment, the money's on him to take the race win.
Still going on for sixth position between Euclid 58 and Midnight Rider, crossing back to that battle for the lead. Just a couple of laps remaining now. This really is going to go down to the wire. Will Famine be able to launch a move? Is he just biding his time? You can see him darting all over the place. I don't think he's got the full intentions to make a move, there, Andrew. I reckon he's just sort of trying his luck, seeing whereabouts he has a bit more of an advantage over Ning Dynasty through these S's. Is he going to think about it on the final lap? Will that be the last lap overtake? He looks like the inside once again. We've seen him try that move, but again, Ning Dynasty manages to retain things coming through there and on towards the final straight. This is where Famine needs to be close next time out. This is where he's losing so much time compared to Ning Dynasty, and it's not his fault at all.
Yeah, it's just off that last corner that he needs to be right under the rear axle of Ning Dynasty. He gets a good slipstream here, but it's then from here onwards where Ning Dynasty's straight line speed just holds off GTP Famine. And if anyone wants a tutorial in where to stick your kart when you're defending a lead, just look at this man here, Ning Dynasty, because he is doing this whole lap absolutely perfectly. He's not giving GTP Famine even the slightest of an option of sticking one up the inside. He is just sticking his kart on the apex of every single corner and is driving an absolute defensive masterclass.
So looking left, looking right for GTP Famine. These are his final few corners before he has the chance to take the victory. Looking left, looking right once again, coming in towards the final couple of corners. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think he might lose a little bit too much time coming out of the final corner, and I think Ning Dynasty may be able to hold on to it. Euclid 58 and Drizzob still battling, as well as Midnight Rider coming on towards the final straight. It is Ning Dynasty who takes the victory ahead of GTP Famine. Mr. Racing Line will round out the podium to finish in third position, and it will be Euclid 58, I do believe, that will stay ahead of Midnight Rider in the closing stages of this race, and R34 Love will then finish a lap down from everybody else. But Ning Dynasty, look at that, 0.2 of a second. That is some seriously close racing, Andrew.
Absolutely fantastic to watch, really entertaining, and hats off to the top three. Ning Dynasty for a brilliant defensive performance and really good tactics. GTP Famine never gave up, and you've got to give him credit for that. And Mr. Racing Line as well. We didn't talk about Mr. Racing Line much because he kept himself out of trouble and took that podium, which I'd be reasonably pleased about if I was him. Good recovery as well from Cab 114 from his early troubles. And a shout out for Drizzob as well, who came from the back, took advantage of the mistakes of others and got himself a top 5 finish.
Yeah, great result nonetheless. So Ning Dynasty takes the spoils here at the GTPlanet Karting Series KF1 final. We'll have the KZ1 final along the way. I tell you what, shifter karts is going to be very interesting actually, because gear ratios, although they do matter, of course, in the normal 125 karts, in the shifter karts, Andrew, that it's even more intensified, even more sort of magnified, I should say.
Absolutely, and it's really going to show driver skill as well. If someone can set up their kart in a similar way to what we saw Ning Dynasty do and hold their kart through the S's, they could be in for a really great position here. But once again, I still think I'd prefer a kart that's more drivable through those S's. But I guess we're going to find out very shortly which kart is best.
Exactly. MSGT on pole position. JJack 33 in second. Connor Wolf in third. TWR Seb in fourth. The lights will go out in just a couple of seconds' time, which they do so now. MSGT gets away very well indeed, as does JJack. No change in the top three as they come across to turn one. Who will lead, though, at the end of this race? That's going to be very interesting to see. JJack immediately launches his intentions up the inside in towards turn two. Has to back out of it at the last moment. Connor Wolf looking to challenge JJack now. A change between the E43 team and Krelu for fifth position at the moment. Coming in towards the S's. Bit of dust kicked up there. But it is MSGT who leads it from JJack. Connor Wolf in third place, TWR Seb in fourth, and the EH Team 43 in fifth.
As David Coulthard would say, that was a slap in the face from MSGT on the exit of the first corner. JJack looking up the inside, but MSGT just had none of it at all. Sliced straight across him to retain the lead. There's a couple of karts wide on the last corner, but no one going as far into the gravel that it puts them in the wall. Everyone surviving at the moment. EH Team 43 now looking for fourth place, taking it off TWR7. Jammy, look at this four-way scrap going into the first corner. GTP Jammy looking to take the spoils from it. But a great start here and a nice, relatively clean first lap.
Yeah, someone going a little bit wide there through turn 2 as well. Didn't quite catch who that was. But GTP Jammy, look at this. Oh, the battle intensifying. 5 cars now, I'd say they're battling for position, Andrew. That is going to be very interesting. All for 4th place at the moment. My goodness.
Yeah, you hope they can keep it all together because we could be in for an absolute stunner. JJack33 now has taken the lead off camera away from MSGT, and we saw in the heat how he compromised himself with a false start, but was then able to show probably the best pace of anyone in the heat and pulled back to 2nd place. And just as to say that, MSGT now retakes the lead. But this scrap on the outskirts of the podium positions, absolutely enthralling at the moment. Still very close and still all to play for on lap 3.
Yep, so MSGT just leads it by a whisker from JJack33 in 2nd position. We know he's quick, his JJack, and we know that he has got the pace to be able to battle it with the front runners. So it is only a matter of being able to keep it there. But he is in that position of attacking and defending at the same time. Defending from Connor Wolf whilst trying to attack MSGT. And I have to say that I would not like to be in JJack's position. But then again, I wouldn't like to be in MSGT's position because, look at this, he's about to lose the lead. And now, that's going to be interesting for MSGT. Of course, will he be able to use the slipstream advantage that he'll get from JJack coming on towards the back straight? Meanwhile, Krelu and the EH team still battling for 4th.
GTP Jammy also looking like he could get involved. MSGT retakes the lead. Once again, looks like the man out in front has a very, very quick kart in a straight line. But the difference this time is it's a 3-way battle for the lead. And Connor Wolf is just stalking these two. He's waiting for one of them to make a mistake. You never know, might even take both of them out. And he's just waiting and waiting and biding his time and hoping that an opportunity shows itself to take the lead.
That's the mark of a very sensible racing driver. He's getting so close through the S's, is Connor Wolf now, and it really is his for the taking. It's anybody's for the taking, really, to be honest with you. Oh, look at that. MSGT going a little bit wide out of there and scrubbing up his tyres. He's going to lose a bit of time to Connor Wolf now, and surely the American is going to be able to overtake his fellow countryman. Out of the slipstream he goes now then, but then again, MSGT has got the slipstream. He's going to take him straight back. It's almost going to be 3 wide heading in towards turn 1. A little bit of a bump draft between JJack and Connor Wolf there. Heading in towards turn 1 they go. So it's Connor Wolf versus MSGT versus JJack. That's your order currently at the moment. It's changing corner after corner. And I tell you what, with 9 laps remaining here at Suzuka, it's getting ever closer. Meanwhile, further down the order, look at that battle going on between Krelu, Jammy, and the EH Team 43 as well. 3 different nationalities battling for 3 different positions. It's getting so close up the top as well.
This is it. This is the chance for Connor Wolf. He's now got a little bit of a lead because JJack and MSGT have been battling so hard against each other. They've got in each other's way, and they've given Connor Wolf a chance now of taking this victory. I do notice that JJack is able to hold pretty much around all the corners a much tighter line without scrubbing off speed. It's once again, it's that battle between, do you go for the performance in the corners or do you go for the performance in the straight? You can't have both unless you're an absolute magician. But at the moment, these two karts of JJack33 and MSGT battling each other so hard, it's oh, someone's getting very out of shape there through the first part of the S's. I think it's the EH team who's tumbling down the order. No. Real shame for the Canadian.
Goes tumbling down the order, I'm afraid, to the back of the field. That is a real shame, as you said, Andrew. What a disappointment for him. He looked to be on course for such a good points-paying position. But don't count him out, of course. We've seen something like this. In the earlier heats, we saw one of the drivers, I believe it may have been Cruel69, who slid down the order earlier on and then managed to recover masterfully and finish in about 4th place. So never say never with anything like this.
Krelu now getting involved with 2nd and 3rd. The 2nd and 3rd battle have got in each other's way so much now that this has offered the opportunity for the 2nd French driver on the road to probably think he can take 2nd place. And I tell you what, Connor Wolf is not that far away as well. I wonder if Connor Wolf's just measuring himself at the moment, not going flat out because he doesn't need to. He's got that little bit of a gap, which is giving him a bit of comfort at the moment. JJack really pushing hard there. I thought he was going to run wide and kick up some dirt, but watching through this last corner here, can he hold that tight line once again? MSGT getting a very, very good drive that time. That's the first time I've seen him do that in recent laps. Looks like he's going to get the slipstream up behind JJack33. Here comes the straight line speed of the American's kart, and he's going to take 2nd position here. And now, can he close in on the other American currently in the lead of this race?
Yeah, Conor Wolf looks to have that little bit of a gap, as you said, but it doesn't mean anything. I mean, this is the problem, is that if MSGT and JJAT become interlocked in a battle, that's really going to hinder their progress for the rest of this race. So I think, as we saw in the earlier KZ heats, that what they really need to find themselves doing is to be able to sort of settle down into a rhythm and help each other out almost to be able to bridge the gap towards Conor Wolf. Conor Wolf, of course, does not have the advantage of the slipstream that Zajac will have, as well as MSGT potentially as well.
Well, I think in the last lap and a half, that is exactly what they've just done, because look at this. They are right up behind Conor Wolf all of a sudden. That lead that Conor Wolf had has completely gone, and you could see him going down from first maybe to third, maybe even to fourth by the end of this lap. MSGT and Zajac have got him. They've both got him. They've worked together, clawed him back in, and all of a sudden, Conor Wolf has gone from looking very, very comfortable as they're getting really close together through the exit of turn one. Absolutely fantastic racing between the four of these guys here at Suzuka. I can barely catch my breath, Tom. MSGT now leads the race from Zajac and Conor Wolf.
Really getting close with 5 laps remaining here at Suzuka. Who is going to take the spoils? Your guess is as good as ours here in the comms box. It's Conor Wolf then still in third place, looking to lose another position now to Crelu, the Frenchman, in fourth at the moment. So he could go from first to fourth in the space of a lap. Still further down the order between Pielster and GTP Jammy as well. But it is MSGT who's in an unfortunate position. I say unfortunate, of leading, of course. He doesn't have the advantage of the slipstream that Zajac will have, who uses it to full effect now, as well as Crelu gets himself up into third position. So Zajac takes the lead from MSGT. So it's French drivers first and third with an American in the middle. Now it's French drivers first and fourth with 2 Americans in the middle. This is getting very, very close with 4 laps remaining. Anybody can take the spoils here. And I tell you what, this is going to be such a good omen to the rest of the season, I have to say. If it's anything like this for the rest of these races, we are on for such a cracker.
Still not over at all for these podium positions. Do you know what? I'd even count Jammy and Pielster in 5th and 6th as still having a outside chance. If these, someone runs very wide. I think it's Crelu. Crelu's run wide.
Oh,
very wide. He's in the wall, and he's made the critical error. And now Jammy and Pielster, as I just said, they're now up into 4th and 5th. Conor Wolf will be breathing a massive sigh of relief because the pressure's gone from him now. Meanwhile, at the front, MSGT goes round the outside of Zajac. These two trading the slipstream lap by lap here. I can't believe what Crelu has just done there. He looks so confident and so assured, but he's thrown away a podium and gets up the inside. Almost a bit of conflict there between Zajac and MSGT there. This is brilliant stuff.
Oh boy, this is fantastic. Look at this. Through the S's they go now. It's Zajac versus MSGT with 3 laps remaining here at Suzuka. Who is going to take the spoils? Crelu. What a mistake he made. How unfortunate for the Frenchman. He was going to finish potentially on the podium, and now he's going to get absolutely 0. That is such a shame. But it's Zajac then who leads, coming on towards the start lap 12 ahead of MSGT. We're going to have to take a breath and take stock of this for just a couple of seconds, because we're going to lose it by the end of this race. It's going to be Motegi all over again. But it's Zajac who leads. A position change. Crelu then takes 6 from Cardspan. And still, Zajac leads it just ahead of MSGT. He's got a little bit of a gap now, coming through in towards the S's, and still position changing between Cardspan and Crelu.
Absolutely. Let's calm it down for a moment here. Crelu in this battle in the midfield, he'll be so frustrated. He will be as sick as a parrot with that. GTP Jammy now up to 4th place, and he will be thinking, is anybody else going to make a mistake up ahead of me? Can I steal a podium? At the last moment, there's somebody kicking up dirt further up the road. I think it might have been GTP Jammy himself, but still Zajac 33 leading, showing the pace that he has from MSGT at the moment, and Conor Wolf still hanging on in there, taking that last step on the podium.
Yep, so Pielster then sitting in 5th place at the moment, under attack from GTP Jammy. Sorry, attacking rather GTP Jammy, I should say, and getting himself up into 4th place at the moment with a couple of laps remaining. This is going to be interesting. Not battling for a podium. Meanwhile, Crelu and TWR Seb, the 2 Frenchmen, are battling for position at the moment. TWR Seb just sits ahead of Crelu with a couple of laps remaining of the race here. But what's happening out in front? How has the gap decided? Is the gap gone? Is the race victory decided? Is Zajac going to take it? Will MSGT be able to launch an attack coming on towards the final lap? But it's still going on between Pielster and Jammy at the moment. Through the left and then the right-hander they go, coming around to start their final lap of the race. As Zajac does indeed begin to do so, the Frenchman starts the final lap. Will he be there in just under a minute's time?
I've still got no idea who's going to take this win at the moment. You'd probably bet on Zajac because he looks like he's got the measure over MSGT. But given what's happened so far in this race, I'm not confident to say that I'm going to say that Zajac's going to win this race, because it could all come down to this last corner. Can Zajac keep it together as they've got about a quarter of a lap to go? Kralew's still battling with TWR Seb for 6th place, trying to at least recover some pride from this race. The leaders are coming around the last corner now, and it looks like it's going to be Zajac.
It is indeed. So, unless barring a miracle, it will be Zajac then who will take the spoils here at the KZ1 final at Suzuka. Indeed, he does. So, the Frenchman Zajac wins it from MSGT. Connor Wolf in 3rd. GTP Jammy will hold on to 4th place, just ahead of Peelster. TWR7 in 6th, just takes it ahead of Kralew. Cardsfan in 8th. Cruel 69 in 9th. Barrett 5 in 10th. And the EH team, what an unlucky race for the Canadian. He will finish plumb last, I'm afraid to say, in 11th. That was spectacular, Andrew.
14.8 seconds covers the whole field over a 14-lap race. That just shows the level of quality and the closeness here in the GTPlanet Karting Series. But hats off to Zajac, an absolutely brilliant win from him. Under so much pressure, there was so much going on around him, but he was the man who rose to the top and took the race victory. Absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. Racing doesn't get much closer than that. So that's the GTPlanet Karting Series from Suzuka East. My name's been Tom Brooks. Alongside me has been Andrew Mather. We will be back, of course, for more commentary and more action at the Red Bull Ring for round 4 of the championship. We look forward to joining you then. Thank you so much for tuning in the meantime, and we'll see you soon.